Good googly moogly, everyone. What's up? What's up? What's up? Breaking it in. How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah. Let me turn on some compression here. Got the dryer running. Don't want y'all to hear that too much. All right. Just kidding. Let's turn the compression off. Yeah, that's better. All right. Cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, what an eventful couple of weeks. Missed y'all last week. Apologize about that. I got a little busy. Working on some fireman stuff. Pretty cool. Not like the one everybody thinks, the wildland side, right? So this is like anytime you hear of a big wildfire in the west, you get the wildland guys. So the upper tier, like the upper echelon, or like the creme de la creme, is like your hotshot crews. So we've got, man, we must have like at least 20 in Colorado, and they're great guys, right? They're the best at what they do. So the goal is to eventually be a hotshot, or be on a hotshot crew, rather. Excuse me. But for now, I'm on a wildland fire team, volunteer. Very excited about it. Very excited about it. I just got off the phone with a good buddy of mine who was a structure fireman. The real like, the ones that you see in the calendars with no shirts on. I would pay him so much money to get that calendar. I know he's listening. I'm gonna tell him to do it for me, and for his wife. I think she'd enjoy that as well. Anyways, and maybe my girl too. Shit. Okay, maybe I won't tell him to do it. Anyways, man. Wow, what an eventful couple of weeks. Good news is, the local fire that's been kind of raging on Cameron Peak up in northern Colorado, chilled out a little bit. The last time we talked, there was a huge snow that had hit, and snow in September, right? Typical for Colorado, if you guys know what it's like out here. And it finally chilled it the heck out. This thing ran, and I mean ran, dude. We were at a wedding up there in northern Colorado. Best buddy's wedding. I probably talked about this, but best buddy's wedding. We're chilling, having a good time, getting ready for him to get married. I mean, my man looks good. His wife is beautiful. They're a great couple. Love them so much. Shout out to them if they're listening. And it ran for like 2 days straight. This fire just went bananas. I'm not even joking, man. So it was like 34,000 acres, which in the grand scheme of things sounds like a lot, but actually really isn't that much now that you consider how big it is. So it was September 6th or 7th. Man, has it been that long? So September 6th or 7th, this wind changes and this thing runs to the east towards the wedding venue. Good news is, wedding venue, I check every single day. It's still okay. But this fire did burn up a ton of areas where I used to go camping with my buddies over there in Pingree Park. So shout out to everybody who lives on Highway 14. I hope you guys are doing okay. Rough time for Colorado, and rough time for California and Oregon and even parts of Washington. My God. But not to bring the mood down. Anyways, we're at the wedding, and we had to leave. The bride's mom, the bride's mother had to break it to us that we were mandatorily evacuated an hour before we're supposed to start changing. Right, we get there at noon. It's supposed to happen at 3, and she comes in and tells us we gotta go. Right. So last time I talked about good people, and like, or maybe a few times ago, I just talked about like characteristics of what I think are great people. Man, you want to talk about great people, dude? Let me tell you about this. So we get in the car, we're loading up. The fire chief, the gentleman who's part of the fire department out there, I won't say which one in terms of privacy. Lovely gentleman. He put a mask on and helped us load up everything into the cars. I can't thank him enough. So, sir, if you're out there, I really appreciate you. It was above and beyond. It was incredible for him to come out and do that. And he came out and told us, we got to get going. We're not in a rush, so don't hurt yourself, but we do got to wrap up. So I said, all right, let's do this. All of us get together. We grab the wedding stuff, everything we can that was part of our party, right? And we're just loading these cars up. It took about 15, maybe even not even that much time. 15 minutes, maybe. 10 minutes, probably. So we get everything loaded up. We get all the food loaded up. We're good to go, right? This is how smart the bride is. I thought for sure, like, oh, man, there's going to be no food. We can't cater. She got a taco truck. My dude, like a taco truck to come to the wedding. So the taco truck comes to the next venue. I'll tell you all about that. And it's sitting in the driveway, and we all get free tacos for the wedding. I was like, this is amazing. This is the best wedding food ever, right? Totally chill wedding. My buddy's really into ska music, so everything was checkerboard, right? Black and white. I thought it was amazing. And she even did her nails black and white. It was great. The thing was sponsored by Real Big Fish at this point. It was hilarious. So anyways, if you don't get that joke, you don't understand the 90s. So we're leaving, and I'm like, where are we going? Like, what's the address? What's going on? And the best man's driving, and I'm in the back seat with another one of the groomsmen. And we're just shooting the breeze, having a good old time. So we get in the car and we drive past where the bride is supposed to be. And I said, hold on, let me hop out so you don't see the bride on your wedding day, because it's like bad luck or whatever. I don't know. I've never been married. I don't know what's going on. But I try to stick with tradition. So I go in and I see, the groom's brother. He's hanging out with the girls and the mom's there, whatever. So the bride comes and she's like, all right, listen, we got a barn. There's a barn out in the middle of nowhere on the other side of the interstate. I just want you to take Brian there and get him ready, and we'll be good. I said, yes, ma'am. Absolutely, right? Like a soldier. I was ready to go. So I get the address, and we start driving. And, of course, my buddy's, he's upset. It's his wedding day. A stupid fire destroyed this venue that they had. There was horses. I mean, he even made an arch, you guys. He made an arch out of wood, and it looked amazing, right? More on that arch later. So anyways, we drive over to the other side of basically the state. It takes about an hour and a half. And as we're getting there, we stop by a gas station. We're getting alcohol. We're trying to booze him up so he can kind of relax a little bit, And it works. It works pretty damn well. So we get to the other side, and as God is my witness, it was amazing. And we get to the wedding venue. And I go, whose barn is this? He goes, oh, my fiance taught these two kids, and this is their parents' house. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, it's their parents' friggin' house, man. They just randomly out of the blue were like, you know what? We got a farm, we got space. You guys come and have the wedding over here. So, God bless them. I forget their names, and I can't say it publicly, but wherever they are, just I appreciate you guys. Thank you for everything you do. That was incredible. It's such a great time. It ended up being one of my favorite weddings ever because, well, first of all, your boy gets married. You're excited about that. But also, like, just to have those good feelings, it made me feel real good and, felt like somebody was watching over us. So that was cool. That was really cool. But anyways, all that touchy-feely stuff aside, we get into the barn, or the house, farm, sorry, I don't know why I said barn earlier, the farm. We get into the house, and instead of the bachelor pad, like, the hanging out before the wedding, the space that we went to was a 7-year-old girl's bedroom. There was Barbies everywhere. She had cute little, like, stuffed animals all over the place. They had, like, these doll bunk beds and everything. It was freaking hilarious, man. It was so funny. So we're there, and we're just, like, drinking White Claws, having a good time. The bride's dad came and brought us a bunch of, like, sandwiches and carrots and veggie platters and anything just to, like, eat sort of healthy, but also just to eat, so we could have something in our bellies. Because a lot of us were doing speeches. I ended up playing a song on the guitar while the bride sang to the groom. Yeah, no pressure. Okay, it was incredible though. I practiced for like what felt like 2 months. For just a couple of chords. All I had to do was strum, but it was just like, when you're at that level too, you want to do well, So I put a lot of pressure on myself to do well, and she sang incredibly. I have a video of it, and every time I watch it, it just makes me cry. It's so great. She did such a good job. So shouts out to you, girl. I know you're listening. I appreciate you. Thank you for the opportunity. So anyways, we get all dressed up. We're having a good time, My boy Tommy pulls out the cigars. We're having a good time and just like centered around my boy, right? Just telling him how much we love him, how great he's gonna do. And the guy that married both of them, shout out to you, bro. I hope you're listening. He married him. So he was the bride's campus ministry, I guess minister. I forget the whole labels with all that stuff. But anyways, he's very involved in her life, right? So he came and he sat down with Brian and they checked in and everything, and he got some real good words to say during the wedding from the groom, right? And it was just a good time. It was just such a great time. I was so thankful to have, my boy and all my friends from college. It felt like we were all 21 again and just having a good old time. And then the week before, we did the bachelor party, like in the mountains, man. The best man, he really hooked it up. I appreciate him. He hooked it up, and he got like one of the coolest Airbnbs, and it's just all of us in this hot tub being silly, being goers, howling till what felt like 2 a.m. It was so great. Anyways, un momento, por favor. Oh, it's still a bit hazy out, so my sorry to do that right in the mic. My throat's all nice and scratchy. So anyways, groom comes down with his mom. She's like a second mother to me. I love her so much. She comes down with him, and they look adorable, of course. And the bride comes down, and everybody's just like, wow. I mean, talk about just pure essence of beauty of a person and goodness in the air. I mean, where we were, you could still see fire and smoke coming from the hills. Let me rephrase. You couldn't see the fire, but there was smoke at least 300 feet in the air, and I'm not joking. I've looked at reports since that day, and the ashes from the fire fell on our cars like during the wedding. It was insane. We were so blessed to be able to do what we had done that day. But my God, you guys, talk about an apocalyptic feeling, right? Like, this wedding will go on, and it couldn't have been a better setting. So the sky is this mixture of red from the sun and the smoke and this eerie but, awe-inspiring color. Just a mix of everything good, man. I couldn't talk more good things about it. And to make matters even better, I still don't know who did this, and maybe the groom knows, but somebody went to the wedding venue previously that we had to get forced out of, and grabbed the arch that the groom custom built himself. I mean, talk about good people, right? Just talk about people who care and want to see something happen so much that they're willing to go out of their way to do something like that, right? I just thought that was incredible, man. So I felt very blessed, and I felt very thankful to be surrounded by such great people. And I'm never going to take anything for granted ever. I mean, gosh, if people can look out for you that well and know that you've got their back and they've got your back, so much so to the point where they're going to do something like that, man. I mean, that's just such a good feeling, And talk about the kindness of those strangers too. I mean, she taught their kids and everything, but man, for them to give up their farm and have all these people and make it happen just like that was incredible. So shout out to everybody who was part of that wedding. I'm still looking at photos and just laughing. It was just such a great wedding. We got to ska dance. We got to mosh pit a little bit, which you probably shouldn't be doing, during COVID, whatever, but we were safe about it. So anyways, man, what a wedding. Such a great time. I had just the best time. And this marks the second of my best good buddies. The third, really, good God. So 3 of my best good buddies to get married. One from the elementary school days, he got married first. One from the high school days, he got married last year. I was the best man for that, which was amazing. First snow of the year, that wedding in October, if you guys can believe that. And then this year. So, yeah, I don't know who's next, but I know I'm excited. Gosh, weddings are just some of the coolest things. They just bring everybody together. It's all love and happiness and joy, and you share a couple of tears over those old stories, but man, does it make you feel good at the end of the day, right? Golly, I've been rambling about a wedding for 15 minutes. Whew, you guys are good. I can't believe you guys listen to this crap, man. I was like, I'm still trying to figure things out. I'm like, should I curse? Should I not curse? Should I make it clean? Should I, do all these things? And I think what I really like, and I'm a quote from a great comedian here. One thing that people like about podcasts, from what I've heard, is they like to listen to it as if it's a wiretap, Like, you're just kind of speaking your mind without any filter, any BS, any of that like extra stuff. And what I mean by extra stuff is like trying to put on some kind of personality that's not true to yourself, right? Like, my name is Ty, and this is the History Hit Kid, right? Like, nobody would listen to that crap. Somebody would be super supportive, but I know I wouldn't listen to my own crap if that were the case. I like this way better. Rambling on and just talking about cool things. I think it's so great. So anyways, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, fire. So I get through that whole wedding. Good God. And yeah, so for the last, September? So last 2 months, I've been avidly trying to become a wildland firefighter, and it's been an amazing journey so far, you guys. I mean, it's tough because you're kind of I'm juggling like the full-time career with it too. You know, I'm trying to teach at the same time, but like I love it because it brings another factor to life, and it keeps it so much more enjoyable and exciting. You know, and I think too, even though I'm spending so much energy throughout the day, like, you know, it's not just work and fire. It's also like, you know, things at home and doing laundry and, you know, trying to stay in shape and trying to bike all the time, which I realize I have not talked about at all, given that this is supposed to be a biking podcast, but we're just going to keep going with it. I like the vibe, and I'm going to keep this vibe. But anyways, yeah, just doing all those things. I feel like, you know, even though I'm expelling a lot of energy in these new avenues, it gives me more energy for everything else. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, think about it this way. Like if I do a fire call, let's say, and I get on the truck and I'm learning about pumps and I'm learning about, like, you know, how to fight a fire in general. I feel like that excites me so much and gives me that passion to go to bed, wake up early the next morning, you know, make some scrambled eggs, make the coffee, get ready for the day, do my hair, go to school, and just crush it as a teacher, right? I want to be there for those kids. I want to make sure that they get the same passion out of life as much as possible that I can convey to them that I do out of my own life, you know? Because these kids don't know. I mean, go back to when you guys were 16, right? Did anybody tell you to be passionate about things in life? Maybe. I mean, maybe. But for the vast majority of us, it's kind of like hey, you need to figure it out, right? And nobody really gave us a roadmap, which is kind of a blessing and a curse, right? You're able to find your own path, let's say. But in the meantime, you know, you have to worry about, like, being able to figure out that there's a path and that you have so many avenues and that you can do really whatever it is you want to set your mind to and whatever you are passionate about and whatever does bring you that joy. But I think there's so many years of trying to find that thing. It's difficult, and I wish somebody would have told me earlier, because man, I feel like now I put so much enjoyment and passion into the things that I love that if somebody would have told me this 10 years ago, who knows? You know, I could be a pro in the mountain biking. Maybe I could be already like at structured firefighting, whatever the case may be. But God, I do feel so lucky to have these avenues. And I feel fortunate to know that they're there and to, you know, take advantage of them. I mean, I'm only 25. You know, like I can't sit here and be like, oh, I'm too old for this. Oh, my joints hurt. But no, I mean, there is a part of me that does wish that I had that opportunity a little bit earlier. But you know, at that age, man, for most of us, it's just about surviving. You know, you got the bullies, you got maybe a bad parent situation, which I'm not going to say I did. I mean, my parents both did their best, but they were divorced, you know? So it's like, it's tough. You know, every kid has a different start, right? Everybody starts in a different area. Not to say that everybody's, you know, worse or better off than me, whatever, but like, you know, you start in a different area. Whether that's good or bad depends on the path that you choose to take, right? But the beauty is, man, there is no finish line, and I think that's freaking awesome. I love the idea that you can just keep going and going and going and going and going and finding the things that you love and care about and trying to keep, you know, that passion high and, you know, use different avenues and find new lanes to express yourself and find enjoyment in this thing called life. So I hope that, you know, when I work and teach and do the things that I do, that I can convey that to people around me. I mean, that matters a lot to me. And it's not for my own personal benefit as much as it is kind of a pay it forward type thing, you know. Excuse me. I had a lot of people when I was younger helped me find that path, and they were amazing people, and I thank each and every one of them. And I might not be able to say you by name, and maybe we don't have the best relationship right now, but I appreciate you guys. And those people had a lot of them. Let's be real, a lot of them, even right now, have it worse than I do. I've got good stuff. I've got a good job that I feel like I'm good at, and I've got people that support me in every which way in every part of my life. And I've got a great family, a little bit adopted, there's a step family and there's friends of family kind of thing, but they're great people and they look out for me just like I look out for them. And I'm so thankful that those people were there when I needed them the most. So we'll call this the Thankful Podcast, along with the Wedding Podcast, along with the Fire Podcast. We'll just call it everything, okay? We'll just call it whatever the heck we want to call it. Because guess what? It's our podcast, baby. We can do whatever we want to do. Dang, we're not sponsored by nobody. We should be sponsored by an English teacher. We are not sponsored by anyone at this point. This is a grammar joke. Sorry. Anyways, crash and burn on that one. I think that's the hardest thing about this podcast is if I make a joke, nobody laughs at it. So I have to laugh at my own jokes. Like, it makes it kind of awkward that I'm just sitting in the basement giggling to myself. And yes, I am in a basement at this point. I'm in the only room that doesn't have windows, which makes the acoustics in here fantastic, by the way. Trying to buy a bunch of luggage and big old giant pieces of wood for our cars, like platforms to camp on and stuff. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point. Let's wrap up with some idea. Let me think here. All right, let's talk about enduro racing real quick. I haven't talked about that in a minute. Holy cow, if anybody checked out Italy, EWS was insane. There was like all top 5 women were Frenchies. Sorry, they were French. It's okay, I'm like a quarter French. I can say Frenchy. No, I can't. But anyways, they knew the track. They did super well. It looked a lot better than it did in Zermatt in Switzerland a couple weeks ago. Good God, if you did not watch that race or have no idea what I'm talking about, the first Enduro World Series race, which is the mountain biking pro circuit that I follow religiously. The first race was in Switzerland, and the entire track just got mudded out. Winter hit super early. It was like negative degrees Fahrenheit in some spots, and they could only do 2 stages. Normally they do like 5 to 7, so they only did 2. That's how crazy this track got, right? It was insane. So anyways, next track, I was really rooting for Jesse Malavan, man. I was hoping he could do it, but my Canadian brother was not able to perform this week. I think there was a lot of crashes and just kind of not being able to find that flow, which I feel, man. I feel that so hard. And Katie Winton, she's a little Scottish girl. I love following her. I think she's great. She kind of, I guess she fell a couple of times too. Thankfully, no mechanicals from the people that I follow, which is nice. I feel like mechanicals are probably the worst thing that could happen during a race. Like, if you fall, right? Like, that's a user error. But a mechanical error is something so much more frustrating, I feel like. You're like, oh, why did my chain snap in half? I didn't fall. This is BS, right? So that's got to be tough to deal with. But anyways, yeah, man, it's a really tough season for biking. I think a lot of the people that follow it are kind of ticked off, especially with COVID and everything. It's impossible to travel right now. Well, next to impossible. And of course, I mean, you can imagine all those sponsorship dollars that are just falling out of the sky right now. That's got to be a bummer too. So anyways, yeah, man, we're getting there. We were riding a lot, trying to stay focused on work. There's a lot of new stuff. Unfortunately, my job is like directly intertwined with the pandemic. So anything you see in the news directly affects me, especially if it's in Colorado. Just being a teacher these days is like everybody's got an opinion, and if it looks good, we bring more kids back. If it doesn't look good, we don't. And they made a really big decision today that, I'll be honest, kind of left a chip on my shoulder. It was one that was brought pretty quickly, and I think without concern for us grunts that are on the bottom. But I digress, man. I don't know. I think we all have personal opinions about how this is going. But for me, I feel like safety should be the number one issue, and I think some people and without naming names, I think some people are not thinking about safety for everyone, and instead are thinking about themselves. So I think selflessness is, not always essential, but is nice to see more than just once. So, God bless all of you who are working so dang hard to keep this world, upside, top side up, upside up, trying to keep this world straight. I know a lot of my friends at work and a lot of my friends out there are having a really tough time, much worse than me. So I pray for you guys, man. I know it's tough. I know it's a real tough time, and my heart goes out to you. I feel very fortunate to have the life I do, but in the same token, I feel like sometimes it's hard when things are not in your control. So, but the good news is, we're in this together. We are all in this together. I love each and every one of you who listen, man. I love you so much from the bottom of my heart. I have nothing but love for people who want to support each other. I think that's the most important thing we can do right now. Regardless of what you believe and what you're trying to preach, if you just support each other and love each other and give positivity where you can, man, we're going to make it. We're going to make it. We're totally going to make it. We always do. We always will. It's a human race, baby. Come on, man. What's going to stop us, right? So, on that good note, I'll tell you what, brothers and sisters, let's do this. Let's end with some good stuff. Okay, let's end with some real good. So, number one, fires are going down a little bit in Colorado, which is nice. I pray for you guys out there on the West Coast. We haven't had any new ones yet, which makes me very happy because I love this forest and I would do anything for this forest. I want trees to stay alive. Okay, I'm team trees. All right, team trees and team oxygen. What am I talking about, man? All right. Team trees, team oxygen. Congratulations on my brother for getting married. I'm very proud of you, brother. I wish the best for both of you. I can't wait to see y'all this weekend. For everybody else, shout out to my other brother who is crushing it down there in the South Side, being a firefighter and whatnot. I'm proud of you, man. I'm real proud of you. I look up to you every day, man. I really do. So before I get too emotional, I'm going to sign off and tell you guys I love you very much. I wish the best for you this week, and I will see you guys next Monday. Holla!